Welcome to A Taste of AZ podcast. My name is Luke Irvin, and today we've got an epic episode lined up for you. But before we jump into that, just want to let you guys know real quick, we've got some brand new merchandise up on our website, including these Thanks for Supporting Local hats and 2 new shirts as well. If you like today's episode, please also leave us a review on your favorite podcast app, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow our email newsletter. With nothing else to say, let's jump into today's episode. Hello, A Taste of AZ listeners. We are here today at Gastromé. I said that correct, right?
Gastromé.
Gastromé, okay,
yeah.
with the A at the end.
Yes.
Okay, so we are here at Gastromé, and it is many things, but I will let our guests introduce themselves and kind of what is going on here very briefly.
Jenny, you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. So Gastromé is the smash up of gastronomy and gourmet, which is the study of food and then the elevation of food.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would you go ahead and introduce yourself as well?
Yeah. So I'm Tiffany Chavez. Both Jenny and I co-own Gastromé Market. We've been open since September 10th. And as maybe we get in through this, we have lots of different concepts here. We have the market, high-end market with a really wonderful, very kind of small, quaint, cozy, chic restaurant that soon we'll be having our patio opened up. And we also have an area that we're in right now, which is where our private events, corporate events, lots of great creative classes will be held in this area too. So lots of different areas that we try to capture anyone's interest and for the foodies. So.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, and I have to say thank you to my co-host today, Christina Barrueta, for bringing me in here and letting me know about this epic place. Christina, how are you doing today?
Great, especially this is a nice way to spend an afternoon at this gorgeous place, and I see sangrias are about to arrive, so I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
Well, that is the perfect segue to. So before we continue on, I just want to reiterate. So we have a kitchen, like a restaurant. We have a market with tons of delicious looking products, and you guys have a beverage program as well, and then the classes. Is there anything I'm missing there?
Oh, you want to talk about maybe catering and the gift baskets?
Yeah, I think in November we're gonna roll out catering where you can call in and tell us about your theme, and then we have Adam Sanchez, who is our culinary director that we just hired. He's fantastic. He hailed from the French Laundry, Pollo in Mexico, and he's owned his high-end catering company for 15 years, and now in Arizona, and we're glad to have him on board on our team.
Yeah, that is quite a list of accolades, quite a resume, I guess you would say, that you guys have brought in here. So before we get into that too specifically, what inspired Gastromé? I'm probably going to mess that up again. But anyways, what inspired Gastromé?
Gosh. So, Tiff and I met about 5 years ago, and at that time I was working at Formaggio Kitchen, and we loved everything about Formaggio Kitchen, their products, their cheese program. And then when we moved out here, Tiff was like, why don't we open something similar to that? And I was like, let's open a few restaurants first. Let's succeed and learn about the community here. And then, open a concept like this. So it was in inception about 5 years ago when we met. And then it became something and something and something until now it's Gastromé, where, we don't have anything like this here. And when I moved from Boston, the biggest struggle for me was like, is the food scene going to be the same? Is the culture going to be the same? And it was not. So
it was Formaggio Kitchen in Cambridge then?
Yes.
Because I'm from Boston.
Oh, yes,
I loved
exactly.
That place. That was the cheese. That was where you got your cheese.
Okay, so I love cheese, but I have not really done like a cheese education course. And I feel like I now know a pretty good place that something like that will pop up that I can learn some more. But cheese is incredible because, people talk about how nuanced wine is. And for me, I have more of a beer background, but like cheese is, the palette, if you will, like a painting palette of different things that you can make happen with it. For instance, one thing that blew my mind, if you will, is I had some stinky blue cheese and I had an IPA. and basically all of the funk washed away from it, but the creamy deliciousness was all that was left over, and it was like a pairing that I had never experienced before. It felt like a chemical reaction was going on in my mouth. So what is it like working in that environment and trying all those different things?
Yeah, I would say, it's basically like every day you will learn something different. There are so many cheeses that we have, and with our staff that's been trained by a certified cheesemonger, and then Adam, our culinary director, who has extensive cheese experience. He has really, I think, elevated it to where he's giving all of us, including Jenny and I, ideas on how to handle cheese, what to pair it with, what to use in a situation like if you're in a pinch, how to elevate it on a budget. So he has some wonderful stuff. We're basically, having these wonderful experiences with the great cheeses. So it is almost kind of a selfish situation that we have here. Jenny's being a little too humble. This really was for Jenny's, her hunger for good food. She wanted to
That's
have,
awesome.
She wanted to have a plate.
We're pretty happy about that.
Thank you, Jenny, for your selfishness. We, it's just wonderful. We have such great food here, and anytime we want, our executive chef Chris Brugman to make us something, he will just, he just grins because he has such a love for cooking too. So that really the energy that we have here, it's like a catalyst. Everyone is so excited and loves food and just has a true appreciation for it. So everyone is just feeding off one another. And I think what's happening is it is starting to get out. People have thought we've been here longer than we have, and they can just see all the fun energy, and we're just very proud of what we've done, and proud of our staff and the ideas and the concepts. So
And you have a huge selection of cheese. How many do you have? I know that when I came opening night, I had to buy that funky, gooey one.
Oh, yeah.
What kind was that? That was
God,
fantastic.
that's got to be a blue cheese, because anything that's
It
funky
was one of
and
those round
stinky-
ones that you can just kind of dip a piece of bread in because it's so soft and creamy. I forget
Yes.
where it was.
We're gonna have to ask.
Yeah.
I'll ask if we get a break. But I know which one you're speaking of. There's some really wonderful stuff out
Yeah,
there.
I was impressed with your selection.
Yeah.
I don't think there's another place that has the selection that you do. Is there?
Not this
In this
extensive.
type of market.
Yeah. So when we hired Kira James, she's from Own Your Funk. She used to work with me at Formaggio Kitchen. My stipulation to Kira was make it as extensive as Formaggio Kitchen, and they've been in business for 41 years. So it's been tried, it's been true, and the community over in Cambridge and Boston and Massachusetts, they love them there for that reason, and they're the top 5 cheese shop in the world for that reason.
We live downtown in Harbor Towers, right on the water, and we would travel to Cambridge just to go to Formaggio. And I think they had a cave, didn't they?
Yes, a cheese cave. Yep, they're the only cheese cave in Cambridge. Yeah, a tiny little cave in the basement, and they did it so well, and it's amazing. I think they moved now to a different location. I don't know if they have the cheese cave anymore. But yeah, so when we hired Kira James, we've asked her, look for cheese products that no one has here. And it's already a challenge bringing cheese into Arizona, if you know at all. Like if you're on the East Coast or the West Coast, you'll get cheese easily because of the shipping containers bringing in from Europe or from Asia or from South America. But when you're in Arizona, there's that challenge of getting it to Arizona, and it takes weeks. And that's
I didn't
why-
realize that.
Yeah, it takes.
So it's a labor of love.
It really is. It's been such a struggle, and I know we've only been open for 6 weeks, but the struggles of getting cheeses and special cheeses to get to our shop has been a struggle. But we try our best. We have about 75 or more types of cheeses.
And how many different? Are you saying 75 or more varieties of cheese?
Yeah.
Not just individual cheeses. That is
yeah.
quite extensive, I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that how many types of cheese? Is it easier to ask the question of what types of cheese do you not have than what do you have?
Gosh, I wish I can give you, I'm not a cheese master, and I wish I had done more.
Well, I know Adam was expressing his kind of the curiosity of really showing us and just the community of foodies the wonders of American cheeses, American made cheeses, and how they can the equivalency to like our cheeses from Italy or France, that he can find as good, maybe if not better, a domestic made cheese.
Interesting.
So I think that was news to me too. Like I was really excited to hear that, as far as bringing in some great homegrown kind of cheeses.
I think the one I bought was from Vermont.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, he says I will, like, if we were to do a blind test, he basically will find an equivalent. If you like this international cheese, he can find you an American made. So we are going to kind of expand our the American cheeses that we have, and so that's exciting. I think it's good just to bring in awareness to where cheese comes from. All the small co-ops. We definitely want to kind of really elevate the small farms that have great cheese. Just haven't had that type of the money behind it to really elevate it, to get it out there and make it known. And we're gonna grab those wonderful small co-ops and bring them in and have some fun with the different cheeses.
Yeah.
Cheese is an interesting thing because it's like how in Europe they don't refrigerate their eggs, but we wash our eggs here and then keep them in the refrigerator. It's just so different, and I don't really understand why it is that way. Same with like people thinking raw milk is terrible for you, but people drink raw milk for ages and we're okay from it. So cheese is one of those things where I feel like it's just mysterious enough that people don't really even know how cheese is made for the most part. And different cheeses, if I understand, are made different ways. And it's not something that seems like it's taken root in American culture as much as European, and especially because over there, like, they'll have cheese plates for desserts and things like that. But it's cool to see places like this taking kind of that European approach to enjoying these types of things, but putting that American twist on it. And that's kind of what America has done ever since we've been around, I guess.
Yeah. And I think what we're lacking here is the education of our products. I think people are starting to wake up and realize the food that we put into our bodies. There's like a wake up moment right now where we're going to start to realize, okay, where is this coming from? And with COVID and the pandemic, I feel like we're shifting toward that's a generation where we want to learn about everything we eat. And so hence this concept also, and this big classroom that we're in that can fit about 15 to 20 people. It's the education of the products that we will bring in, not just cheese, but also wine and olive oil. How is it made? The love.
And I think we had a caviar class on that opening night. So that was a nice treat.
Yes.
I don't even know what that entails, but sign me up. I was not a big school guy, but I feel like I got to go back to school if this is what it looks like.
It's not even about like going to school. Like for me, thinking of school, it's like boring studies for hours, but for food, it's like you taste it, you experience it, and then you learn how is it made. And when it's made with love and there's a story, there's so much connection there. There's a high that comes with it when you eat the food and then you learn where it's from. If it's a recipe that's coming, like from a family that's been there for generations, you feel that story. You feel the root of that food. And I feel like that's what we're trying to convey here, is just
absolutely
to give you the story of the food that we bring in, and that's it. We don't take any credit for it.
Well, I love how everything just is like perfect. Like this sangria right here is the most beautiful sangria I've ever had. It tastes fantastic. It's not too overly sweet. And I also love that when you said people are waking up to their food and asking where is it coming from, Chef walked out with food in his hand like it was the most perfectly timed thing in the world. So, Chef, if you want to bring the dishes over, and I'll give you my mic, and you can kind of explain what we're looking at.
I definitely need a cocktail though too, right?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
for
so.
sure. Here, pass that down.
How's that? Perfect. You can sit down and explain that. Okay, fantastic. Hi, ladies.
Hey,
How are you?
Chris. Chris, there's your warm up beverage
Oh,
right
cool.
there.
Fantastic.
Oh, right. Oh, oops. Okay. Well, that was Luke's. That's okay. You were all
Oh, that's
family now.
delicious. Do we need to put these headphones on too? Sure. Am I good? All right. I don't want to mess my hair up though. That's
No,
a
right.
pretty vital part of my look. Cool. So we have cocktails. I wanted to bring a couple dishes to get you guys started today. This is our Spanish octopus. We get that from World Class. It's a fantastic product. Underneath that is a romesco sauce, and then next to that is a mole verde. On top we have some crispy fingerling potatoes, a tapenade of olives and Calabrian chili, and then orange here is a little bit of, it's like a spiced orange curd. It's got a little bit of pink peppercorn in it. It kind of like brings all those flavor profiles together. What we're trying to create on plates is really just having diverse product on it that really, bring a lot of the food to life. So just really accenting it with very unique flavors and awesome ingredients. Next up is our beautiful hamachi crudo. So we have little rosettes of hamachi. Underneath that is like a spiced apple jam. We call it our spiced applesauce. It kind of reminisces me of like tamarind almost with the way that the spice pulls through. On top of that, we have some toasted hazelnuts. And then there's a really cool sauce. It's really punchy. It's like a lemon hazelnut vinaigrette, but it's just like this really punchy sauce. And we use a yuzu kosho. We got local yuzu from McClendon's Farms and made our own kosho. And so it's got a very vibrant punch to it. It's a really beautiful dish.
I love how everything is so complex and the flavors are so layered, and they're really globally inspired flavors too, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the hallmark of my philosophy with food. I think you start with the ingredients, right? You try to source the best ingredients you possibly can and just really try to liven them and bring life to them, right? But I think really important too is finding, that those really fun cultures that you can kind of, bring to life through the food, right? So like we have a global approach that's, very coastal Mediterranean, Moroccan. It's just really it's about the flavor profiles, right? So it's kind of, drawing on all that local support and all that local produce and the great ingredients, and then just try to bring it to life with, a kind of a worldly approach. All right.
Thank you, Chef.
Of course. Enjoy. I'll bring some more treats too. We got a few things we're gonna bring today.
Perfect. We're pretty happy, huh, Luke?
This is the best day of my life.
Right. And we get to have this every day, except Mondays. We're closed officially on Mondays. But yeah, Chris has really elevated it, and we've had nothing but
He's over here trying to run away with my sangria.
I know, yeah.
What's going on,
He's
man?
a sneaky little one, right?
No worries.
Don't worry, I don't want cooties.
No worries. I get a sip of yours next time. But the elegance, that is something that like I love so much about food, and people say food is an art. There's no cliche to that. I don't think many people would argue that. But when I see dishes like this, especially someone who gets to photograph food and video food, like I almost pulled the camera off the tripod right here and stopped the podcast so I could get some clips of this because it looks so visually appealing.
And I have to give a shout out because I've been a fan of Chris's for a long time. I met him when he was at Mountain Shadows, and then followed him over to, I didn't get to Castle Hot Springs, but I did visit him when he was at Wren and Wolf. And Evan was there also.
Yes.
And Blue Hound, Evan was at. So I just am so impressed with your culinary team anyway.
yeah.
So when I heard they were here, it's like, score.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's a dream team for sure. Evan,
Yeah.
Derek, and the executive chef Chris. They're
Yeah.
great. They're a great group.
Yeah, when we hired Chris as a consultant, he came just right after Run and Wolf, and we just wanted to start 3 months with Chris just to help us with the kitchen, train the staff. And when Chris told us, he was like, I have a chef. He's going to be really great. And we're like, oh, who is it? He's like, myself. And I'm like, fantastic.
Yeah.
Are you serious? You're going to come and work with us? We just knew that we had, the best team. And then he brought on Derek and then Evan. We just knew that this place is going to blow up at some point because like with Chris and his complexity of the food, and you're right, like food is about art. Like it's love. It takes them hours to prep the food, and some people don't understand that. It's like, 24 hours just to make the sauce, and then another 2 hours just to cook the octopus, and then lay that onto the plate and make it into a piece of art. It's really a dedication, and not everyone has that. And Chris has that. He has the skills.
And you have both a restaurant and a takeout counter where you can have the dishes, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yep.
correct.
Yeah, we just kind of recently kind of adopted. At first, we weren't thinking of doing the dine-in portion of being a takeout. So now, if someone does want to take out, the octopus plate or maybe the hamachi crudo.
Oh, so they can get the restaurant menu to go also.
Yeah,
Also,
yes. You can get the
yeah.
restaurant menu to go. And yes, you're correct. The Hot and Cold Deli has wonderful things. There's some staples that you'll see quite often, but then he is, I would say, weekly changing things up. Because like Jenny was saying, he makes everything from scratch. So a lot of this stuff will take, honestly, it'll take days. Like
And
the
I
tomato
assume
water.
he sources a lot here.
Yeah.
I know you have Terra Farm meat
Yep.
and obviously world class and
Yep.
high quality ingredients.
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
we know about.
Yeah,
McClendon's.
McClendon's is an organic farm. Box Greens. It's also an organic, kind of like online platform where they deliver, organic produce to residential.
So it's really a one-stop shop.
We really,
here.
we
Yeah.
really try to make it that way, and it's probably just this one-stop destination for like-minded foodies like all of us, but then also chefs or aspiring chefs. They can come here, talk with Chris, talk with Evan and Derek, even Adam. There are so many things that we have here that maybe a lot of chefs won't really find in your local market. So it really will help them like come together and bring that very, very special, dinner or luncheon, a private event. You probably grab whatever you want here. So
And you have wine and desserts and condiments and bread.
Yeah. It's
yes.
really, if you're a foodie, this is the place for you. It's a dream for you, and it's really made from foodies. So everyone here really believe what, like we believe in food and the quality of the ingredients. We believe in the combination, and also like if it doesn't give you that fireworks in your mouth, we're going to change it so that it will give you that experience.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not Gastromé.
As far as the market itself, what are some of your guys' personal favorite products?
Yikes.
Jeez.
All of them.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
That's a really, do you have anything off the top of your head?
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
Luxardo olives are one of the best.
Luxardo.
Yeah, Luxardo olives. We tried them at the Fancy Food Show, and with olives, some of them could be really salty, really briny, but when it's made really well and really balanced, and that's what it is here. It's about the balance of all the flavors, right? You get sour, you get salty, you get sweet, you get the burnt flavor, and then in the end it's like that umami flavor that you want, and that's everything. I would say we got a really great selection of olive oil, and our cheeses. Like seriously, I can't choose one. I'm not that person. Like
It's very hard.
I was hoping you'd basically just list
I know.
everything that you
Yeah.
guys sell. Yeah, that was what I was leading towards.
okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's correct.
Tiff,
answer.
do you have?
No, gosh. Yeah, I think, I try to, I totally agree with Jenny. Like we have really wonderful items here. I'm kind of one of those, like most Latinas, very much into very citrusy. So I love anything very lime based, high acidity levels. Spice is my thing too. So with everything that we have here, Chris has for the meals, like he's put together like our dream menu. Like it has.
You basically just described the bite that I just took.
Yeah.
It was
It's-
pretty
it's-
incredible.
I like that you use the word fireworks in your mouth because I would say that was apt.
Yeah.
It's there's like so many different things playing along, and just I don't know if those are serrano
Hamachi
peppers or
crudo.
what, but just topping the
Yeah.
bite off with that, and it's so fresh, it's so
Yeah.
inviting,
Yeah.
and like I said before, it looks just absolutely stunning.
Yes, and that he does is it cashews or pistachio dust? Like he puts some
Little crumbles.
It really just tops it off. Like those attentive to the small details,
Yeah.
you wouldn't believe with all those little details. It just, yes, you have a celebratory kind of event in your mouth, and
Absolutely.
it really does. He does an amazing job, and he uses just so much local as we possibly can, and even to our I just blanked out on the hot sauce that's local here. Catino. We love Catino, and he splashes Catino and anything we can or anything I can. Catino is in my bag over there, so he goes with me everywhere. But
That's
yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yeah,
That's a true foodie move.
Yeah.
So shout out to Jacob Catino,
Yes,
who
yes.
that's his hot
We would
sauce.
love to meet him. I've had a couple email exchanges, so when he's in town next, he'll
Hot sauce
come see us.
education here.
Yeah.
I will be at that.
Yes.
You let me know.
Yes, please bring him.
Real quick, before we continue on, I am going to take a quick break for a message that we'll get in here and sneak in another bite of this, and then we'll continue on.
Sounds good.
Real quick message for you guys. If you guys are enjoying today's episode, please leave us a review on your favorite podcast app and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our email newsletter for all of the cool spots to eat and drink around town, as well as upcoming events and fun stuff like that. Also, we've got some brand new merch on our website, including these Thanks for Supporting Local hats and 2 brand new t-shirts. So make sure to check out our website for more. Now back to the podcast. Well, after several bites, a quick break, and a few sips of my delicious sangria, we are back to discuss some more. So let's talk a little bit about the restaurant and takeout. We touched on it a little bit, but talk about a few more of the items that you guys have, maybe some standouts, some things that people love, that are regulars here.
I think the hamachi crudo that you just had, that has got to be, I think every customers that has been in here have ordered that. So you really tried, a really great dish there. It's the complexity of it was, anything that Chris does, he does it with a heart and a soul, and you could feel that from the plate.
And his technique is flawless.
Yeah.
I mean, from the cut of the fish to the tenderness and char on this octopus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
really nice.
I mean, I've not had like a million different octopus before, but that is probably the best I've ever had.
Yeah.
And the tenderness of that, the cook of that, the char of the flavor, and the tenderness of the octopus crudo that we had as well. It's everything that I've had so far is like exploding in my mouth the way that you described it. And it's cool that you can not only come and enjoy the food this way, but then hopefully take some stuff home as well on the way out. If you could speak to the layout of the location a little bit and what it looks like when you come in.
Oh gosh, well, we actually put quite a bit of thought and time into that journey, as so to speak. When you come in, you can basically see down the barrel the wonderful cheese island, lots of smiling faces. To the immediate right, you have this cute, kind of quaint wine alcove where you have a sommelier, wine steward there every day. We have someone there to have a conversation, like learn anything that you want about wine. So, and tastings every day. And then as you continue to pursue, it's almost like it's like the river, kind of the river,
A lazy river.
Yeah, the lazy river, where it's basically just going to be all these little probably mini orgasms in your mouth with all these wonderful foods. I hope that was okay to say, but as you're
No,
going,
we got to stop it there. That's it. You broke the
Okay,
cardinal sin.
That's past the octopus over there. I'm done. But yeah, so once you go through, you have the pastry area, which we bring in local pastries. We're in a bit of a kind of a changing out right now, not for any reason that was bad. It's just we want to try to optimize and bring the absolute best fresh local pastries in here.
Sure.
Right now, Mark Chacon is the French pastry kind of chef, and he has done amazing. We also have 2 sweets.
I should add that he was nominated for a James Beard Award this year.
Yes, he
Yes.
was. Yeah, and it's definitely shows. Like his food, his pastries are wonderful. And then you just kind of keep perusing through, and then that's where you meet Chris after the sweets, and he'll settle you out with nice savory. So you could say you got to have different levels of satisfaction as you go through here. So you see all the beautiful kind of hand prepared deli items. You circle around the cheese island, and in the periphery, you have your build your own bouquet. We utilize Anne. She's wonderful. She's helped us kind of build up this program. So she hand selects all of the flowers that come in here. So people love to have conversation, get a nice bottle of wine, get a bouquet of flowers, get a wonderful wedge of some cheese, get some of Jenny's favorite olives. And you just kind of keep cruising. And the nice thing that we have here is transparency. So we like people to get that feeling of like a Thomas Kincaid kind of picture. It's towards the evening, the dusk time, our lights kind of have this nice little kind of warming hue. And you can see inside our classrooms, you can see the events, all of our glassware all polished. Our, sommeliers all, in his black tie, nice and buttoned up, ready to have a party. And you can see everyone laughing and enjoying good food. And you can also see that on the restaurant side too. Our wine alcove has a wine, 18-foot wine fridge. You can see through it. So you can actually see these wonderful conversations and all the great chemistry that's happening on the restaurant side. And it just makes you feel like, oh my gosh, they are all the connection and all this, these experiences that people are having. It looks so genuine. And I think that's the biggest thing for Jenny and I is we just wanted people to have such a, Jenny likes to call it or just an organic kind of experience. And that's what's happening here. I feel strongly about that. And Jenny's, like, anytime I see Jenny smile, I just know that this is exactly what this was intended for, just to have fun and eat and just enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
That is very well put. And so I imagine that almost everyone that comes in here, even if they're not expecting to get some food, ends up probably getting some food. We've talked about what the food looks like a little bit, but we haven't dug too much into the beverage program. So talk to me a little bit about what people can drink and enjoy while they're having some food while they're here.
Yeah, so our beverage program is by, Mitch and Libby from Highball, and we talked about that a little bit earlier. We hired them as consultants, before we opened this space. We tried their cocktail program at Francine and then also at Run and Wolf, and we really enjoyed everything. And when we opened this space, and the vision for this space was like, everything that you try in here, it has got to be elevated onto another level where you're like, okay, I'm being transported into another world. You're not in Arizona anymore. You're either in France, Italy, Europe, Asia, wherever it is that you want to be. And I think this is what this space is about. It's like you come in here and you feel like if this could be your last meal or your last drink, you're going to die happy doing it. And
I'm pretty happy right now.
And it gives you that high, the connection, the conversation, even with our staff, everyone that we've chosen needs to have that passion, that love for the food, and they convey that for us. And you can feel that when you come into the space. It's that vibe, the vibe of like, we understand this space. When we go to like a really nice restaurant, we walk in there and we have a really nice feel. Suddenly you're like elevated into a high
It's almost like a
place.
time warp.
Yeah.
Like time doesn't exist anymore. You're just having a good time.
It stops, and you're enjoying that conversation just like we are right now. And you're in this place where, this could last an hour or two, and you would be okay with it.
You wish it would last forever, but
Yeah.
you got to go back to
Right.
normal life,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And then you miss it, and you think about it all the time. And that's the experience that we want to give here at Gastromé. It's what I search for, and it's what I want to give to customers.
We've even had some customers. A handful of them have come in multiple times a day. They'll go shopping like, okay, I've got some things to do, but I'm going to knock it all out, and then I'm going to get over here for dinner and bring my husband. And so a lot of people I have seen multiple times coming in, and that's got to be one of probably the highest kind of compliments, is just to make it feel like this is your neighborhood, market, but just a little bit of a getaway, just that, like you said, that quick, like you get transported into a different time. Try to make it inclusive, fun, just a lovely place to where you feel all the good energy. Because you'll see if you ever come in here on any given day, we love to have music. So great music is playing, and our employees are dancing. And here's one of Chef Chris Brugman is a singer too. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, we do have some microphones around.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. He's his hips don't lie. All right. That's all I have to say.
Well, you've also come with more gifts, so I'm going to get out of your way, and I'll let you sit back down again and steal this mic and kind of explain it while I show the camera.
Fantastic. All right. Start here with our grilled oysters. These are Savage Blondes, and then we serve them with little brioche toasts. So this is just something that's fun that we like. The butter is we make in house. It's a Calabrian chili butter, a lot of lemon zest, a little bit of tarragon. It's really fresh, really vibrant, and it just kind of hits with that brininess of the oyster, and just really kind of pairs well with that. So that's one that we like a lot. And then this is probably my favorite. I don't think you requested this one, but I wanted to bring it because it's kind of close to my heart. This is just like comfort food for me. Like, I think when we want food to look beautiful, obviously, but we also want it to feel good too afterwards. And so it's kind of on par with what we talk about with our ingredients and how fresh they are. This is our roasted mushroom toast. It's sitting on a bed of leeks that it's essentially melted leeks, but instead of mounting it with cold butter to emulsify it, we use bone marrow. So our bone marrow melted leeks, and then we have a host of different kinds of mushrooms. Today we've got some hon shimeji, some king oysters, and then they're sitting in this basically pan gravy, with a lot of lemon and white wine, a lot of fiend herbs. You can salivate at any point here. And then to top it off, we have this just insane, cute little bouchon toasts. And we split those in half. We get those from Breadworks. They're awesome. Then we finish it with some crispy guanciale, because if we don't have that, then this just can't be complete. And then some crispy artichoke and a little bit of celery leaf.
Wow.
Fun.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm very happy you brought that out.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, please enjoy this, and then we're gonna come back with a couple of pastas in a minute.
Oh.
All right.
Thanks.
And that
Chris.
mushroom toast, we've had multiple customers that said, if this is my last meal, this is it.
Yeah.
It might be
Yes.
mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I may have to throw some lobster chunks on that one then next time.
Thank you, Chris.
Of course, my pleasure.
Oh yeah, you guys are
Yeah,
in for a
if you,
treat.
gentlemen, if you're bringing your ladies here, be careful and don't go around the kitchen, because the man can cook. Apparently he can sing. He's handsome as well. So just FYI. But the smell on this mushroom toast is incredible. I can't even believe it. It smells like so sweet. Christina, I'm going to move this plate if you don't mind, and you can keep your fork, and we will dig into this. But would you guys talk a little bit about these and what they mean to you, and not just hear it from the chef?
Well, I have to say, speaking of maybe the oysters first, I didn't grow up with oysters. I was raised in Southern California, in the Valley. So my meals didn't include a lot of seafood. But I really don't. Thank goodness I have no allergies, no contraindications to a single thing on this planet, which is, a wonderful trait to have. But I was exposed to oysters with Jenny in Boston, and understanding how wonderful the taste that they can have and how they can be prepared in so many different ways. So, basically I would say there's weekly, Jenny and I are always having oysters, and now we can have it, any day of the week with Chris, but he has prepared it in such a great way. It's so satiating. You can feel like
I love seeing the pool of butter that's sitting in there.
Yeah, he's really done a nice balance of the flavors with that. So I would have to say that the grilled oysters, they don't feel heavy. They don't have a batter over them. They're just it's enhancing its organic kind of loveliness to it. So I think the seafood lineup of what we have on our menu is really, really great. It hits to so many people, and we've heard wonderful, great things about the grilled oysters, and we also have the raw live oysters too. And he has a great mignette And so that, yeah, it's wonderful. And the mushroom toast, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I want to go back to the seafood that we have here. Growing up in Boston, seafood is something that it's a big deal. You know, it's on the coast, so you get fresh seafood all the time. My family grew up with, you know, oysters, lobsters, and my dad was a fisherman, so he would educate us on like, okay, make sure when you go buy fish is vibrant and it's not dull. If it's dull, then, you know, it's not fresh. Or look at the ice, you know, if it's a dull looking, you know, ice, then don't buy it. It's been there for days. If they just came out of the ocean, then you could see the vibrancy of the color of the fish. So I grew up, you know, pretty spoiled. So when we talked to Chris about bringing seafood in here, we said, look, if it's not going to be as good as Boston, don't bring them in, because then you'll get my wrath of fire.
Well, I don't think I've ever used this word in my life, but that is the most unctuous thing that I've ever eaten before. It is like the butter and the oyster itself is just so smooth and tender. It's fantastic. And I've actually not eaten many oysters either, but basically it's like Chula and Atria are the only other places I've eaten them before. And now here, I guess, as far as oysters are concerned in my life, I'm a pretty lucky guy from what I get to eat.
There you go.
That's a good trifecta right there.
Yeah, right.
And again, the mushrooms. You've tried the mushroom, Christina. What do you think of it?
I don't think I have. Were they there that first night?
No, not.
Oh, you
just,
mean try
just now?
now?
Yes.
I am so happy he brought this out. Now, my problem is, how do I not order each of these dishes every time I come in? Because every time the first bite, okay, nothing's going to beat that crudo. Oh, man. Okay, nothing's going to beat that crudo and octopus. Nothing's going to beat that crudo, octopus, and mushroom toast. And now I'm going to add those oysters. And I love that he includes brioche, because that butter sauce is, with that Calabrian chili is...
Yeah.
Are you waiting for me? Is that my sign to give you a piece of the
And the Calabrian butter, we sell them in the market also. So you can make your own grilled oysters. You can order oysters from us raw, and then you can buy the butter and you can take it home and grill them yourself.
It's Chris. Yeah, Chris creates and prepares that butter. So yeah, it's made in house.
Well, and the mushrooms on this mushroom toast are the most meaty mushrooms I've ever had in my life. People say that mushrooms are meaty, but that tastes like there's meat on there. There isn't, correct?
No, there's no meat.
Yeah, there's no meat. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's just mushroom, yeah.
It's so savory and rich. You know, I'm not a vegetarian, but I would rather have this than a steak. You know?
Same here, Christina.
Yeah. Absolutely.
When I first tried the mushroom toast, I was like, okay, let's see. What are people saying, really? Like, if this could be their last meal, let me test that out. And I tried it, and I'm like, okay, all right. And you have that moment where you're like, oh, there's so much more to learn. And this is the food world here, you know, like there's always going to be something else that will make you, you know, expand your horizon a little bit. And that's what we try to do here at Gastromé. It's like, you know, I may know 100 products that you don't know, but there will be many other combination in here that you can put together that will make your world explode, will make your mouth explode. And we try that here. We R&D all of our food, all of our dishes all the time. And each time I'm just like, I feel so lucky to be in this space right now.
I feel the same.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, I will candidly admit that this is kind of a hard episode to host because there's so many different things going on and so many people that make it so fantastic. But like, I feel like my head is literally spinning because I'm reaching over to grab a sip of my drink and getting some of this and some oysters. And that is like the best feeling. That's exactly what you were describing about like kind of being frozen in that moment in time. This podcast is like the perfect example of what, you know, Christina and I kind of do this for and what you guys do it for as well. And it's cool to not only have that be a place that you just go and eat food at, but then that experience comes home with you. And not only that, but then you can share it with other people, right? If people are buying, you know, a decent amount of wine and cheese and whatnot, they should invite me over first of all. But also, I imagine that they're inviting other people over as well, right? Unless you like cheese and wine as much as I do, which I do have some personal cheese and wine at home. But it's cool that you guys are not only creating that experience that people can have here, but then share it with other people as well.
Well, you touched on something. If you were to, as we see this every day, individuals they come in, they're very nervous. They have this quaint, maybe intimate, event at their house, and they're not sure how to handle the recipes and what kind of level to take it to. And I just noticed, watched this morning, Sharon, our catering and event planner director, she was literally walking through, giving such personalized care and attention to our customers and helping her. She showed her the recipe and she's like, oh, here, I recommend this, try this. And she's coming back later today after she takes care, I think, for some family business, but she's coming back. She's going to get the macarones. She's going to get some of the vinegars and the oils that we have, and Sharon's gonna help select some things for her and just kind of guide her through it, because she is very nervous, but she's super excited about this big dinner event that she's having, and that's kind of what that's the next level type of, for you to be able to feel comfortable. She asked, she goes, Sharon, are you going to be here? Will you walk me through this experience? So that's, again, probably another highest form of a compliment is someone actually wanting to go through, a shopping experience with you so that she can have a great meal with her friends and loved ones and stuff. So
one might say she's catering to your clients in a different type of way.
There you go.
Wonderful. Yes, exactly. Well said. For sure.
I have an anxiety grocery shopping. So when Tiff and I created this space, we're like, okay, let's think about what is your anxiety about when you go grocery shopping. And for me, most of the time is I get so overwhelmed with so many different products. I'm like, what should I get? What can I do? There's 20 different olives. There's 20 different meats. There's 20 different, so many different things. I'm like, what can I get that would make this dinner party a lovely time? And we thought about all of this, and so we're like, okay, let's put an expert in each corner, and let's make sure that any question that arise at Gastromé, we're going to help them to answer them, and we're going to walk with them to make them feel not too overwhelmed. Do you want to do a steak dinner? Sure, we got Wagyu beef, we got Iberico pork. I mean, it's a lot more elevated. We'll show you how to make it. And Adam, who's worked with all of these products, is the reason why we hired him, because he knows, he's been there, he's worked at, Michelin star restaurants where he's worked with all of these products where he can say, let me try this with the oyster mushroom, cook this with this certain olive, and you will have an incredible experience when you get home. And they have to give you that trust. And when we talk about specialty products, they're expensive for a reason.
Right. Sure.
They're expensive because not a lot of people have heard about, the products. And so therefore we got, we hire experts in each corner to help them figure that out so that they can bring it home, not just buy the products and use them, but also enhance their dinner parties and also become that expert themselves. And then brag. You have that bragging rights too. Yeah.
And I love that you make accessible some ingredients that only chefs sometimes can get. For example, you carry Terra Farm, and that's James Porter's. I've met some of those cows up in Prescott, but his everything he does is superlative.
Yeah.
But not only making ingredients that only chefs would have available, but then also having chefs make it available for them to cook, if you will. If you were saying they're special for a reason, and it's also special that if you mess up a piece of Wagyu beef, you're probably going to be pretty pissed off. That's going to be a frustrated cooking experience.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to kind of segue into the classes a little bit because we were talking about some of your education work here. Real quick message for you guys. If you guys are enjoying today's episode, please leave us a review on your favorite podcast app and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our email newsletter for all of the cool spots to eat and drink around town, as well as upcoming events and fun stuff like that. Also, we've got some brand new merch on our website, including these Thanks for Supporting Local hats and 2 brand new t-shirts. So make sure to check out our website for more. Now back to the podcast. Alrighty, well, after yet another break and surely several more spoonfuls that we just scarfed down, or forkfuls, if you will, we were talking in the break about pairing and the knowledge and education and whatnot. And I said, when it comes to knowing, being an expert about wines or cheeses or whiskeys or whatever it may be, I like to say people that are at that level have just tried enough bad versions of things to know what is good. And we talked a little bit earlier about the pairing and whatnot, but if you guys could talk a little bit about some of the classes you do and kind of some of the education that people really wellly receive, if you will. I don't think that's a word, but
Yeah, no, definitely. So we actually just completed our first class. It's actually sold out. Super excited about that. It was
roughly how many people are these?
We max out right now at 15.
Okay.
We could, to make it more comfortable, we thought 15 was a good number. We could go up to maybe 18, 19. But right now we just want to kind of just create an environment that people don't feel like we're just cramming a lot of people.
It's a little
in.
more intimate.
We want to make it intimate. We want to make it just a fun, comfortable, kind of conducive for learning and savoring great food and wine experience. But yeah, the class that we just had last Saturday went very, very well. Everyone, lots of wonderful praise for Adam was involved. Jasper, our sommelier, was in charge of this class and created it from the beginning to the end. So that was wonderful. We have a class coming up this coming Saturday, actually, the 29th. It's an intro to wines. Mark Gluckman's another one of our wine stewards that he's going to be teaching that class. But we have stuff coming up in November. We have a Thanksgiving class, and it's going to be, we call it Thanksgiving Wine and Food. And that's going to be Friday, November 11th. That's going to be a 90-minute class. That's just going to be very obviously kind of within the title, just kind of what kind of wines you'd want for Thanksgiving, and some wonderful apps. Adam's going to be involved in that one too, Sanchez. And so it'll be an elevated kind of experience. So a lot of fun things to have for that class. Other classes would be like holiday bubbles. So champagne and cheese. And I mean that, I really don't have to say too much about that one. That one is, I'm looking forward to that one. So I've already bought my tickets. Saturday, December 10th. And then even things you can go to fondue. So a fondue class, and kind of talk about different types of fondues that you can have and how to prepare them. Sharon, our catering and event planner, she's going to be heading that one up again with Adam. And we bring up Adam because he has that catering kind of knowledge. So he's just so forthgiving of his experiences and just wants to share things that have worked. And he's just tried and true. His stuff has surpassed all expectations so far. So we're very pleased to have him, bring in any experience, any pearls that he may have. And that's December 14th. And then Fagua and more this holiday season. That one is going to be a Thursday, December 8th. And that's going to be a fun Fagua, pate, all kinds of stuff. I've never been to a Fagua pate class. And I thought, what a great way for the holidays. That is going to really kind of be like the topping, I think.
I love that because there are people who want to try it, but you don't want to go to a restaurant and order a $40, or a whole, a big piece in case you don't like it. So that's a great way for people who are curious, I think, to try it.
Well, and I've also had foie gras and pate a few times. I'm no expert by any means, but I don't know if what I've had is good or terrible, frankly, because I don't know what the standard is. I know, what it is, but I don't know all the different methods that it's used. Like, maybe you guys don't know this either. Sorry if I'm putting you on the spot, but I think it's used in mousse sometimes as well, right?
Correct.
Like that is something. Having it just cooked and on a burger before at Weft and Warp, I never would have thought that same thing could be used in mousse, which is quite incredible.
Yeah.
I'll let
It's so foie gras. It's a bit more fatty, very creamy, tasty flavor, and
I call it duck butter.
Yeah, exactly. So you can add it onto anything, steak, a burger is a great example of that, and it heightens that, right? It gives you the extra, something for your mouth to feel, your palate, your taste buds. It gives that fireworks that I keep talking about. And so yeah, you're right, Christina. What better way? You don't want to spend $40 when you go to a restaurant, and then you end up not liking it. But if there's a class, you learn about how to make partay, how to make foie gras, where did it come from, why that name, and the flavor profile that comes with it. Then you might enjoy it a little bit better. And again, here it's all about the education. It's about like connecting to that product, to like, you know, make that connection before you fall in love with something. If you come in here and you're like, oh, you want to try foie gras, you're like, oh, I don't know what that is, I'm not going to buy it. But if you've taken a class about it, you can brag to your friends, oh my God, I just been to a foie gras class.
Right.
I know why it's called foie gras. I know why.
That's what I was thinking about, you talking about experts in every corner and how that
Yes.
contributes to the confidence. You know, you build confidence here too
Right.
in
Yeah.
the ingredients,
Yeah.
and then you know that benefits everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
God forbids, you know, like we don't know everything in this world, and you know, like we feel so overwhelmed just going to a grocery store and being faced with like thousands of products and not knowing what to do with them, right? You're like, oh, I could buy this, but I don't know what to do with it. Let me give you an expert and let him help you pair it with something that will give you that experience that you will talk about for days. Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of a food expert, we have yet
Right.
another dish. This is definitely now the best
He
day of my
is a
life.
dish.
but-
I mean, yes, Chef Chris here.
yeah, sit back down, pop these headphones on, and tell us what you've got.
How's everyone feeling?
Oh my God.
Getting full yet?
I never want to leave.
The good thing is you don't have to. There's plenty to do here, right? All right, so this is one of our fun pasta dishes that I really love because it's vegetarian. This is our autumn squash bolognese, right? So the idea behind this was to source like really, really fun squash, different kinds of, so we have various kinds of squash in there, some delicata, a little bit of butternut, some roasted mushrooms, all these flavors that really play well together in the fall, right? And then turning that into a dish that's vegetarian. So we thought this would be super fun to do. We have fresh Sonoran pasta company pasta, so we use their tagliatelle, which is what we feature on this dish, some fresh grana padano, cheese, and then just some torn basil. Just keep it really simple, really rustic, but you know, elegant within the ingredients, right? So that's our fun dish. Yeah, how's everything else? Fun?
That's great.
Good.
Yeah, they
Applause.
love it. Love it, Chris.
Good.
Once you watch the episode, you will find out how much we loved everything.
Oh, good. It'll be my surprise then when I watch it. Can't wait. All right, thanks so much.
While I've got you on here real quick, talk a little bit about your background and your cooking style and some of these dishes, how they're an example of that.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Los Angeles. I've been in Arizona for 10 years now, but worked at Gordon Ramsay's signature restaurant, the London Hotel, worked for David Lefevre and Manhattan Beach Post. Some really great restaurants and some great chefs that really just kind of taught me about, you know, using the best ingredients you can and just trying to manipulate them in ways that are interesting and fun. You know, I think that kind of lends to my style. It really starts with the ingredients. Unfortunately, in Arizona, I'm used to, you know, I was used to shopping at the Santa Monica Farmers Market. And, you know, coming to Arizona, you never really think that this is a place that has great produce, but it's really to the contrary. It has some tremendous produce. And there's some tremendous farms that do really, really great things. So it's fun to be able to celebrate those ingredients. And I think just, you know, from my time, you know, at so many different places with so many different influences really helped me find my own thing. And then, you know, I think Castle Hot Springs was a really big representation of that for me, just because of having that access to the farm and really, really showcasing those ingredients in ways that most people cannot, just simply because they don't have that luxury of, you know, produce at their fingertips, right? So, you know, for me, it's just having fun. I love cooking. I've done it since I was 5. I watched my grandmother and my mother cook in the kitchen. I was the only one allowed in. So, you know, I felt that, you know, that family connection and the connection with the food and the love. And so all those things really play to, you know, what I like to do. And I like to make people happy through food. So, I mean, that's really simply what it is.
Well, I would say mission accomplished.
Thank you guys. Appreciate
For
it. It's
sure.
been fun.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Wait until you guys try that autumn squash bolognese. It has so many different levels. To me, it's a very complex dish, and I love it.
I'm gonna talk for a minute while Christina enjoys some of it once she gets a second to get a bite. But yeah, his resume is quite impressive, and I feel blessed to be able to eat this. And it's in such like a kind of a humble environment, right? It's beautiful, it's elegant, it's all that. But like you said earlier, you come in and people are smiling, and everyone seems like they're just happy to be here.
Yeah.
It's not pretentious whatsoever, and I think that makes for kind of like a really cool environment to enjoy these products, because typically it is pretentious and it's kind of unaffordable and it's a little bit exclusive. Here it doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like the exact opposite. Very, very inviting.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I know, I think I speak for both Jenny and myself, where we don't ever want to give off that type of vibe that it's an untouchable, unobtainable type of experience that anyone can come in here and we will treat them. We don't ask anyone's background. We know nothing of who our customers are coming from, but they have got to be the most kind of down-to-earth individuals. And then as you start talking, then we start getting some information on, oh my gosh, these are such individuals that have reached for the stars, and they have very, very decorated resumes. But when you meet them at the first part of coming into our market, you would never ever guess that. So my point on that would be, we don't, whatever your resume looks like, whatever any background that you may have, it's all to us. It's just the same as long as you want to have that that drive and that love for food. We'll give you it'll be endless as far as the experience you can have here. And it's going to also be the millennials, the individuals who are probably really afraid to come in. We really welcome them to take a class, to just come and chat with Sharon, chat with Victor at the Cheese Island, and Holly, and really get in with Chris and the chefs at the deli. They're right there. They're just an arm's length away, that you can have all kinds of fun conversations. There's a lot of great stuff that can be had here, and to kind of empowerment, like we're all saying, experiences.
I was thinking your classes would be great. You could do a bachelorette party. You could do a date night. You could bring your parents in for an anniversary, and it kind of appeals to everybody. And I would think even corporate get-togethers would be a perfect thing here.
Yeah, no, for sure. We are working as that is. It's an evolving type of program, but as individuals are coming in, and friends of friends, and friends that you're only a stranger once. So Jenny and I, our friendship portfolio is really escalating up, and we have really great conversations with individuals here that are very lovely people, and yeah, they want to share this experience with a group of their wonderful close friends, and we have no objections to that. We will tailor this however it works for them. So yes, we do have some organized classes available to make it easy for some individuals who just want to be in an experience with just great people, and you can certainly make something more private, and
we can do chef's tables. This is exactly what you say, Christina. Bachelorette parties, bachelor parties, anything, as long as the max is going to be 15 people, and if we have the time and the the space for it, we'll certainly make it happen for your party. Yeah, it's catered to whatever you want.
I love that you call the cheese area the Cheese Island too. That sounds like a place I need a property, is on Cheese Island.
Yes.
Well, so we've kind of touched a little bit on everything. Before we let you guys go and get some cheese to go home, and probably some wine and many other fun things as well, what else should people know about you? Where can they find your classes? How can they follow you on social media?
So our our website it's still slightly under construction.
Okay.
It has moments where it's running, and then we still have a lot of editing to do. But if they can, our Instagram is up. Cynthia Grassi, she's our social media director. She's doing an amazing job.
Nice.
She has created some links so that we can go on to the reserve button. It takes you to our lunch and dinner is reservation only, and then it also will send you to the events section, so you can sign up for the classes there. Facebook is up to par as far as all of the recent uploads. The links are all there with the Facebook. Just our website. We're still kind of a work in progress, but rest assured we should have that hopefully up and going here in the next like full up and running next couple of weeks. I would say 2-3 weeks.
Well, for the time being, that
yeah.
just gives people a reason to come here and shop for some cheese to the sounds of Leon Bridges and the sights of smiles and whatnot. So, yeah, unless there's anything else you guys want to throw in, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been such a great time.
I'm just glad you guys are as close to me as you are. I'm right up the road, so I'm
Nice.
smiling about it.
Nice.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, this
Well,
is fun.
Yeah,
Thank
once
you.
again, thank you so much. And everyone listening, follow them on social media. Give it a week or two and then check out their website. But in the time being, come by, get some cheese, sign up for a class, because a visit here, it really is a destination. You can get lunch, you can look around a little bit, and you're not going to find a better place to buy some cheese as well. And I'm a big cheese guy, so I'll definitely be in soon. Christina, thank you for joining us as well. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.